go back a little bit, because there was a bit of a confusion during the incident. Earlier today, you went on to publicly state that Mr. Gachagua had been abducted by unknown individuals amid the tear gas. Yet a little later, he himself came out publicly and said that he was safe at his Wamunyoro home. What information did you have to come up with that?
When the tear gas was lobbed inside the church, everybody ran in his own direction for his own safety. I was in the bush. I saw Gachagua being whisked away, and I had to say that statement so that in case anybody had tried to imagine or contemplated to imagine doing such an act, then we wanted our party leader safe. I did not know where he was. We tried calling his phone calls. They were not going through. We tried calling his bodyguards. We were not able to get through. And after 3 hours,
what was happening overnight in Unyoro?
Overnight, maybe before we go to the overnight, let me start from the beginning, because I attended the church in Othaya yesterday morning. I came from Nairobi, others left from Nyeri, and we met at the church. Actually, the People's Deputy President arrived there earlier than us. So when we got to church, on my way to church, I found on the road the truck, the P address truck that was announcing to the people in the area that Rigathi Gachagua will be addressing people at Othaya Shopping Center, Othaya Town, had been attacked. And I saw the driver on the road, by the roadside, bleeding. And immediately I could not stop at that particular time, but after just a minute or so, I stopped and asked people, what is happening over there? They said, those are the police. They have tear-gassed this guy. They have tear-gassed this truck. The windscreen of that vehicle were all down. So I was like, something is amiss here. So before I could even go back just to save the driver, we saw the police vehicle coming our direction. So we had to rush. And when we rushed, we went to church. It is me, actually, after getting into church, which was already starting, I informed Rigathi Gachagua, something is not right outside. There are police officers, and they're just throwing tear gases and shooting at people indiscriminately. So, and people started rushing out, our security, to find out what is happening. Because why would you tear gas a truck that is just telling people or announcing to the people there? So immediately people became alert. But we were like, nobody would come and attack a church. So we continued, the church continued. And after 5 minutes, that's when the same people who had a police Land Cruiser, a Nissan Matatu by, I think, a circle called Namu Shuttle, they came. You see, this kind of information, we are getting to know it later. Because when we are in church, we can only tell it's tear gas because we are smelling it. We can only tell it's tear gas because our eyes are hurting. And there's commotion in church. But Eric, I want to tell you this, because there's a narrative that is being given out there that probably it is a setup, or probably it is us.
It's planned.
These things. It's planned. But let me tell you something, Eric, because I've never been in such a situation. And I don't want anybody to even think in that line. Because if I was to paint a picture of what happened yesterday, because first of all, the ACK church in Othaya town is a small church. It has a small half floor up there where the children were. And there were so many children. And it has 3 doors. And 2 doors, they are pointing towards the gate where the bullets and the tear gas canisters were being thrown to. The other one is a small one that I think goes to in Catholic we call it the Sanchrist. So I don't know, it's a small door.
It's called a vestry.
A vestry,
in
yes,
Anglican
that one.
church.
So that was the only door that we could use. So these people knew that. It's like they had come to the church before. So they had marked those 2 doors. There are one in the main door and the one in the small door at the vestry. So that's why we were locked in church, and everybody was in church. The children were in church. And Eric, I want to tell you this because maybe you'll be the one who'll be given an opportunity to say how much you know me in a funeral or something. We saw it yesterday. And probably in 2008, when the Kiamba church massacre happened, There were no survivors. There's no one to explain what happened. We can only imagine how a mother and a child were being banned, hugging each other, crying to death. But yesterday we saw it, because they first locked the doors, they put the tear gas in every door, and the children were there crying. So the next thing was fire. And they had already started the fire by burning the vehicles. So even if you're blaming Rigathi Gachagua of planning this, he cannot plan to be part of it inside the church where everybody is, and the fire is coming from outside, the bullets are coming from outside, and the bullet.
You're saying they locked the doors?
They locked the doors.
Who's they here?
Yeah,
The people who are coming, we're saying they're rogue police, because those were not the normal goons that people say the goons. Because they had the protection of police officers. They had a Land Cruiser, which is a GK vehicle. And from the newspaper, it is your newspaper, has reported, they interviewed one of the police officers who declined to be named and said how they plan. Eric, I want to tell you this. Some of our members who will be doing police reports or reporting to IPOA, because we don't believe the National Police would investigate itself. We don't believe Murkomen, the CS for Interior, will investigate himself. Some of our members of parliament were receiving messages, threats, because of what you did to me in Karatina yesterday, leo mutakipata. There are those messages. They're not WhatsApps. I'm talking about SMS. So meaning Safaricom has it, So we knew, but we never thought anybody in their sane mind would want to do that. So Eric, I'm telling you, we experienced the reenacted scenario of Kiambaa Church. The only good thing is nobody died, nobody,
Did anybody suffer serious bodily harm?
Of course, there were so many people. And you know what happened, Eric? Because they came twice. I think they ran out of bullets and they ran out of tear gas canisters. So when they left, that is the opportunity we got to evacuate people and for us to run for our dear lives. So what happens is that after they retreated, the people said, Wameenda, Tokeni. So we left the church, and people in the church, you can see from the videos, helter-skelter. So the only person who was left in the church was Rigathi Gachagua and his security detail. For us, we had to run and find out, as we evacuate people, and find out the route where he gonna go. So after we found out, we came back and we told him, we have found where you can get out of this place, because these people were determined. Because you cannot say you're courageous enough to face a man who has a bullet. You cannot say that, why did you run? First of all, you look for safety.
Yeah.
Then